Everybody, hello Brian. Good morning to you. Good morning everybody. I hope you all are doing fantastically today. Hello. Let me do this. Up. Hello Lilith. Punarva. I'm feeling a little bit better, not fully. But you know, we'll make do. Hello Michael. Hope you're doing great. Hello everybody. Happy Sunday to you too, Roy. So I'm back. This is the Freestyle Live. Hello Monte. How are you doing, Monte? I did take something. I will answer right after the live, but I am taking medicine. It is going better. But yeah, I'm still in the midst of it. My brother lives miles from me, but we talk often when I told him how you kept in touch with every one of your followers, even during your notification. He said you must be quite a guy. Well, thank you to your brother. Trying my best, of course, to keep updating everybody. You know, last expedition, I think I didn't do as well as this one. This time, though, I think, yeah, I kept in touch a bit more. Greetings, Michael. You do yoga for anxiety and depression, which is a perfectly valid reason to start yoga, for sure. Lilith, well, thank you. Thank you. Bonjour, vous êtes français. Hello. Barry, howdy there. Howdy, Mark Nelson, good morning. Good morning. Baritone. Yeah, it's because since I'm sick, it's true my voice might be a bit deeper. You should have seen the lesson I taught in the morning. It was 7:30 a.m., so my voice was very deep. Jean-Jacques, salut Jules, c'était bien la Saint-Valentin, malgré le rhume? Yes, it was alright, it was alright. You do Surya Namaskar every day, but is that body stretching exercise required? Thank you, Matthias. Of course, always, always. Okay, a lot of questions. I appreciate it, I really do. But we need to start the live, and then I will answer the questions in the Q&A. So thank you, everybody. I will remember the questions to the best of my ability, and let's begin. Hello, L. Ravi, great to have you here as well. Yes, I'm feeling a bit better, not fully though. Yes, Barry. Yeah, glad to be back live, for sure, for sure. Jean-Jacques, et c'est le lait de poule. What? That's crazy, I've never heard about that. Interesting. Is that a specific concoction? Not quite sure, but yeah, why not? Why not? I've been gurgling salt water using several products. But yeah. Barry, are you sure you're up for a class? Of course I'm up for a class. You know what, I'm up for 2 classes, 3 classes, 4 classes. I'm unstoppable. Sick or not sick, always up, always ready, of course. Okay, so a lot of questions again, but I'll answer in the Q&A right after the live. Let's begin the Freestyle Live. Let me disable the comments. L, this is an interesting nook you found. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you. Yeah, this is, so I'm at my friend's place here in Jersey. This is not mine, but they do have quite a few cool trinkets here. Because 2 flatmates. So yeah, it's their things. Very cool. Yeah, it is very cool. Okay, so let's begin the Freestyle Live. You know what, to begin with, let's begin with the neck. I'd like you to grab a comfortable seated position here, lengthening the spine, lengthen the crown of your head up towards the sky here. Try to feel your spine elongate from the tip of your tailbone to the crown of your head. Placing your feet flat down on the ground, right underneath your knees. Releasing the arms, releasing the hands. From here, whenever you're ready, on your next breath out, I'd like you to turn your head to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, tilt your head forward. Keep your back long and feel the stretch from the back of your neck going alongside your spine. Keeping your head down, I'd like you to slowly shift it to the right, just a few centimeters, keeping the forehead reaching down towards the ground, keeping gravity at its work. Slowly to the left. And then slowly back to center and back up. All right, great job. From here, I'd like you to sit on the edge of your chair. As always, I'm just going to switch perspective for you to see better, but you don't need to switch perspective. You can just keep facing me. So sit on the edge of your chair, please. Place your hands onto your chair, flat down on the chair. Then I'd like you to thread your left foot underneath the chair, either underneath or to the side of the chair. Make sure that you are tucking your tailbone here, meaning tilting the hips back, pulling the pubic bone up, and that you keep trying to bring the foot further and further back. From here, if your ankle is a bit sensitive, you can tuck your toes under to make sure that you're not overutilizing your ankle, or keep your toes untucked to allow the back side of your foot, so the top side of your foot rather, to be on the ground. You choose. Stay here for another 10, 9, feeling the stretch, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release. Very good. And let's do the other side, placing the right foot down underneath the chair or to the side of the chair, feeling the stretch in the front side of the thigh. Now, this stretch is extremely useful to release pain that might occur in your lower back. You might be wondering how. Well, it's pretty simple. If your thighs are tight, they are pulling your hips down, the front side of your hips down. And this contracts, this squeezes your lower back like this. It creates compression and oftentimes pain. By stretching the front side of your legs, which by the way often get very tight if we sit for long periods of time, you actually work towards releasing lower back pain. Especially as you squeeze your core, which is also a very good way to release back pain with a strong core. Slowly release, placing your right foot back down, and now stay seated on the edge of your chair. While we are at it, let's stretch the hamstrings. I'd like you to extend your right leg forward, flexing your foot, tilting your hips forward here, reaching the chest forward, feeling the stretch in the right hamstring. Now, stretching the hamstrings is also very good for the back because the hamstrings can, just like the quadriceps, pull not the front, but the back side of your hips down. And this can also create tension in the lower back. That's why keeping both the front and the back side of your legs stretched is one of the best ways you have to guarantee a pain-free lower back, which is what all of us want, isn't it? Keep stretching the hamstrings, feeling your form, feeling your alignment. Your entire body should be coordinated so that you don't arch your back or round your back too much. It should be just right. Slowly come back up and switch sides. I'm starting to get a bit too warm here. I think the heating was just turned up, so I will need to remove my jacket. But keep Folding forward here, please. As you keep looking forward, the goal here, as my first yoga teacher said to me, is not to place the head on the knee. It's never to place the head on the knee. The goal is to place the chin on the toes. And if you have this as a goal, it's going to become way easier for you to maintain good posture. If you think about bringing the head to the knee, well, you will round your spine. And that is not what we want. Slowly come back up, placing your left foot flat down on the ground. Very good. And while we're at it, let's release some glute pain. Now, I've been walking a lot in my expedition. I've been walking some days almost 30,000 steps and the equivalent of 90 stories, which is quite a bit. And when we walk a lot, the glutes get really tight. This is when some symptoms can occur, such as sciatica. Sciatica is basically, so we have the sciatic nerve, the biggest nerve in the entire body, going through our glutes, right here on the outsides of our glutes, and runs down alongside our legs all the way through the toes. When we have sciatica, it means that this nerve is inflamed. It can be really, really painful. I had a student with whom I taught for, I think we started more than 2 years ago. At some point we stopped for a couple months because he was traveling and everything. And then, I'm not saying this is related, that we stopped practicing and all of a sudden he got a sciatica. I'm just saying we were not actively lengthening the glutes, which is a direct influence on having sciatica or not. When we stopped, in that period of time, he got sciatica, and it's really bad. It's really painful, and it took him a couple of weeks, even maybe 3 or 4 weeks to recover and to be able to do things normally. So being preventive about sciatica is very important. Let's start by placing the right ankle onto the left knee. Now, when you place your ankle onto your knee, make sure you flex your foot. So bring your toes up towards your shin. From there, I'd like you to interlace your fingers on the outside of your right knee and pull it in towards your chest as you twist to the right. Look to the right. Of course, where you look, you go. So if you twist to the right, look to the right. Feeling the stretch in the outer right glute. Lengthening, stretching, and releasing the muscles that surround your sciatic nerve. If you stretch, lengthen them, release them, it will prevent sciatica. No joke. I recommend to do this stretch very often. Of course, in our live sessions, I teach this stretch. But if you want to do it every day, there's no contraindication. This is a French word, there's no worries. I, in fact, encourage you to. Slowly release, and let's switch sides. Placing the right foot down, placing the left ankle onto the right knee, interlacing the fingers over the left knee, and pulling the knee in towards your chest. As you twist to the left, looking to the left. What a nice stretch. I like it. I like it. Hello, France. Welcome. And slowly, you can release, placing your left foot slowly back down onto the ground. Excellent. Okay, from here, I'd like you to sit not on the edge, but comfortably onto your chair, allowing your back to rest against the backrest. Try to place your glutes as close to the backrest as you can. That way, you're releasing against the backrest, yes, but not slouching. So it's a release, maintaining a good posture. Place your feet flat down, place your palms facing up, and close your eyes. I'd like you to, little by little, slow your metabolism down. I want you to imagine a locomotive. The leading wagon of a train. Of course, now it's different. It's electric, but a long time ago it was with coal. Coal was burning, producing this pressure needed to get the train going. The more coal you put in this locomotive, the faster it went. It's the same thing with air. You can imagine oxygen as being fuel, like coal, to a locomotive, except it's to our body. The more inhales and exhales you do per minute, the more oxygen you ingest per minute, the more fuel your body will have. But the thing is, we're not a train, we're not a locomotive, and except if we're actually running, we don't need that much fuel. Most people nowadays inhale and exhale too fast. They have too much fuel in their bodies, even if they're just slouching on a couch looking at a Netflix series, the breath is often too fast. Now you can imagine looking at a Netflix series on the couch does not require a lot of fuel. So what does the body do? Well, it's pretty simple. This fuel doesn't disappear. It needs to use that fuel. It needs to go somewhere. So what the body does is it increases its metabolism. The heart beats faster for no reason. You often get, this nervous tics like moving the leg, biting your nails. This increases your general anxiety and stress levels because it increases your metabolism and as a byproduct increases your superfluous mental activity. And remember, stilling the fluctuations of the mind is one of the goals of yoga. The more fuel you have, the more those fluctuations will be there, will be present. The point is, if you don't need fuel, don't ingest fuel. Don't take in fuel, because that will make your body overdrive for nothing. So I'd like you right here, when you're sitting against the backrest, no, not even using your back muscles, fully relaxed, I want you to use the least amount of fuel possible by slowing down your breath. This is the first step to slowing down the metabolism, slowing down the breath, slowing down and reducing that fuel intake. As you keep slowing down your breath, I'd like you to feel your heart beating slower. Perhaps your body's temperature reducing. And little by little, you should notice the fluctuations of your mind diminishing. You should notice your stress and anxiety, which, stress and anxiety don't have to be necessarily apparent. They don't need to be obvious to be there. In your subconscious, stress and anxiety can be present even if you don't notice it. It's just like tension in the muscles. When you fully release in Shavasana, I'm sure you've noticed that sometimes when you think you're fully relaxed, you're actually not. Same thing here. Whenever you're ready, I'd like you to try and keep that slowed metabolism, to try and keep that slowed breathing rhythm, and gently open your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Namaste. Well done, everybody. Well done. Now, this is something just like stretching the glutes in order to avoid sciatica that you can practice every day at any moment. Thank you for following me, Skyberg. So yes, this is really fundamental, I would say. Fundamental. Literally, slowing down your metabolism can elongate your life. Imagine. I think it makes absolute sense, even without any specific scientific explanation, that if you have a slower metabolism, you'll age slower. Everything will go slower within your body. So yeah, I think it's very, very important. I know it is very important. Bob, heard my lower back playing with a dog. Thank you for the new tips, and your friends have a lovely place. Well, thank you, Bob. I'm sorry to hear about your lower back. I hope it's feeling better now. Take care to you too. Thank you, Corinne, for sending the link. Yes, so those lives are free. Everything's free. The videos about the limbs are free as well. If you'd like to support by making a donation or contribution, you can by clicking on Corinne's link that she just sent on YouTube, as well, of course, on Instagram by donating a badge. Those help out tremendously for me to eat croissant since I'm in the UK, fish and chips. This is really tremendously helpful. So thank you to all. And of course, it's not mandatory, just if you can. Michael, thank you, Jules. Two great takeaways as always. Sciatica stretch and slowing the metabolism. Welcome back. Thank you, Michael. Glad to have you here. I'm glad that you... Oh, no worries. Oh, what did you... that's okay. That's okay. I didn't even see your typo. Brian, nice. Ready for walking around the car show in Toronto later. Oh, the car show. That's cool. I like to go to a car show. I like cars. They're pretty cool. Roy, the sound of the clock could be a useful thing to focus on. Oh, I wasn't sure if you were able to hear them, but yes, definitely. Definitely. There are probably no less than 10 clocks around me right now. Barry, thanks Jules, that worked well. One of my side effects of COVID is an erratic heartbeat. My heartbeat dropped to 80 during that exercise, which is the lowest it has been in a while. Ah, I'm so happy to hear it, Barry. So happy to hear that this exercise managed to lower your heartbeat, which is very good. Very, very good. It is true that COVID has had some long-lasting effects. I'm really sorry to hear that about your heartbeat, and I hope that this regular yoga practice can help you lower it consistently. Now, did you know, I think I told you, but when I had my little weird episode in Georgia when I couldn't speak properly and I had a terrible headache and I did a few tests. I had a heart monitor on my chest, and I think my resting heartbeat dropped to 42, I think. And this is thanks to yoga, clearly. So yeah, this practice definitely has immediate but also long-lasting effects. So keep up the great work, Barry. Oh, it's almost 7 in the evening here. Interesting. Here it's 1 p.m. in Jersey Island. It's just like the UK time. But I'm actually very close to France, just 20 to 30 kilometers. So about your questions, I don't really remember all of them. If you're still here, please ask me again and I shall answer. I remember about a meniscus tear. Now, those questions are always hard for me to answer because of several things. Absolutely, Matthias. Yoga is health, health is life. Yes, that's true, Matthias. Absolutely. So yes, those questions about specific injuries are always hard to answer because it's very hard for me to know how severe those injuries are, firstly. Secondly, I'm not a doctor and I'm not, how to say, I'm not qualified to say, to give you things to do depending on your injury. I mean, I am qualified to tell you what could improve the pain that you might feel, but without me knowing more details and having the approval of a certified doctor that you can move your knee, because I really don't know what kind of tear you have, then it's really hard for me to say anything. I can say though, there's an invariable. If you have an injury in a joint or pain in a joint, then strengthening and lengthening the muscles above and below the joint is always going to be helpful. Take care, be careful, don't overdo it, and this is the best I can tell you for now. Still a long way to go? Well, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and you've done more than a single step. So keep going, Barry. Ravi, thank you, Jules. A very beneficial session. I'm glad you liked it, Ravi. How would you describe or compare your expedition to Turkey with a recent one to Petra? Great question, Ravi. Thank you. Well, that's a great question. I would say it's very hard to say. I would say that the one that I had in Turkey was a little bit less intense regarding the amount of walking and constant exploring. There was more transportation time than actual exploring time, which I found was better this time in Petra and in Amman. Because this time we had a bit of transportation time, but a lot of exploring. In Turkey, we had to really go a long way to see certain things, and that was a bit annoying sometimes, like staying in the bus for 5 hours and 6. I remember it was pretty long sometimes, yes. But apart from that, I would say I preferred this expedition in Jordan because there were so many more things to see. In Turkey, it was very much focused on the careers. I posted a few pictures of me in huge careers, carved into the rock. Very interesting, of course, but that was a bit repetitive. I would say. Of course, we saw other things which were really interesting, but not as interesting as in Jordan. In Jordan, it was 10 times bigger. It was more details. It was, I think, I preferred this one. I think it was even cooler, yeah. I would say so. Of course, Turkey was very cool though. I'm not saying it wasn't cool, but this one was really awesome. Yes. And I was also very happy that you liked my sessions about the limbs of yoga. So yeah, that made me happy, and yeah, I would say overall, it was a great expedition. The food was also better. So yeah, I mean, it was great. It was great. So thank you for your question, Ravi. Jean-Jacques, croissant and fish and chips, not so good for your health. Well, Jean-Jacques, as I often say, if I had a choice between quote unquote healthy food that I don't really want to eat and quote unquote not healthy food or normal food that I really, really want to eat sometimes, I would always go for the food I really, really want to eat because, you know, the body will enjoy it, the mind will enjoy it, the mood will be uplifted. Now, this is to be taken with tweezers, as we say in French. You know, it's not, I'm not saying you should eat pizza every day because you love pizza, okay? I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying you shouldn't be too strict, I believe, about food. Because after all, you know, I think it's a wonderful thing. Food, I love food. I love food. And I would rather exercise, run, walk, jump, and practice yoga more to be able to stay physically fit rather than cutting down on my regime, my diet too much. Nevertheless, of course, I'm never eating, or at least I try to avoid as much as possible, too fatty foods or being not reasonable with food. You know, you have to stay reasonable, of course. But in my opinion, if you're not specifically trying to lose weight, sometimes eating a croissant or fish and chips, that's totally fine. I think those are great things to taste. So yeah, I think physical exercise is, how to say, for me physical exercise is more important than what food I eat. You've always asked me what my diet is. I don't have a diet. I just try to be reasonable. I try not to eat fatty foods or too fatty foods, but yeah, exactly. Diet is all about balance. That's true. That's true. That's true. So yeah. L. Merci Jules. Nice class today. Feeling good to stretch and find some stillness. Namaste. I quite enjoyed the clock sticking. I'm glad you did. Glad you got checked out after your episode. That sounds a bit scary. Yeah, that was scary. That was very weird. I had a MRI and everything, but they didn't find anything. But I think I know what it is. I think it was just I didn't drink enough and I had a migraine, and so it was as if it was something else, but it was just a migraine, I think. Oh yes. Punarva, sir, I want to ask a question. Does breathing pattern significantly affect posture alignment? Yes, I would say shallow breathing promotes a slouched posture. If you breathe in more deeply, it will promote you having a better posture because simply you cannot breathe deeply if you're slouched. Good question. Jean-Jacques, une chose est certaine, c'est que mes douleurs aux genoux ont très fortement diminué depuis que j'ai arrêté le travail. Le stress est un poison. Interesting. Let me translate that. One thing is certain. My knee pain has greatly diminished since I stopped working. Stress is a poison. Absolutely. It is true that sometimes physical pain comes from emotional and mental strain, like having a lot of stress. That is true. That is true. My pleasure, Carolina. Of course, it's my pleasure. Barry, what was the weather like during this time in Jordan? It was great weather. It was constantly like, I think 15 to 25 degrees. Really nice weather. Always sunny. Very cool. Sure thing, Ravi. Very, very true. Food is so good. That's true, Stan. Have a wonderful week, Jules. Thank you, Stan. And enjoy your food this week. Well, next week. I want you to really enjoy your food and stay active, stay reasonable. But yeah, food is good. Punar, today's class was truly wonderful. Oh, thank you so much. Of course, my pleasure. All right, see you everybody. See you tomorrow. I'll be posting the schedule very soon. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you all for joining. It was a pleasure having you here. And I'm already feeling better after the live, so that's great. All right, see you everybody. Namaste.